Pokemon Unite tier list World Championship. So the finals have just concluded, and it looks like ya boy Verlisify was right about pretty much everything when it comes to Pokemon Unite. So let's get into the tier list. Hoopa, just the #1 best Pokemon. If you are not playing it, you are losing, because as I keep on saying, teleport is a huge problem and has shaped the entirety of League of Legends for many years. And now Hoopa's just the teleport champion on a basic ability and a cracked Unite, and then your entire team shows up at objectives and you win the game. So if you don't have that, you are just seriously behind. Bruv, representing why Mr. Mime is S tier. Just because a few people play it doesn't mean it's not good. So many NPCs and people that don't understand the game in the comments. You can't put Mr. Mime at S tier. It's not picked. It's not meta. Nah, what you do is you secure every objective in your, or not every objective, you secure every wild Pokemon in your lane, you get ahead, you start one-shotting people on confusion, and then the enemies don't stand a chance while you support your carry and also nuke out their carries. I disagree with Barrier, and he had some good barriers, some grief barriers. I still think you want to like guard swap onto your ally when you hit level 13, just super heal them up, or lock onto one person and then remove them from the game. Either way, Mr. Mime getting the representation. Also, Cinderace S tier. Let's go and review Blackhand. They are the ones that won mostly off the back of their jungle Cinderace, because funnel strategy still the thing. Like, it's kind of crazy how for Pokemon Worlds, the game almost reverted a year back to like the original just, yeah, e-girls comp, everyone supports the Cinderace, or everyone supports like the Lucario hyper carry, and then you just mosh at Zapdos and whoever wins, wins. Now it's just, we have Hoopa instead. Blissey can kind of cover because Eldegoss has been nerfed so much and Blissey has gotten so many buffs, and then Cinderace, yeah, turns out if you have an 80 carry with basic 80 carry mechanics, but since 99% of the player base is trash, mostly from ignoring my advice, then they also don't have the skills and mechanics to pilot a character like Cinderace, especially when being heavily supported. But you don't even like need to have a pocket support to still do insane things on Cinderace. Highest DPS in the game, just for like a range character, while also having best secure in the game. Of course, that is why it's S tier. Sword, Aegislash, getting that representation, and once again, if you did not have an Aegislash player, you were at a disadvantage because King Shield locks out a lot of counterplay from the opponent going into the Sacred Sword for even less counterplay because it's mobility that charges your crazy empowered auto attacks that also has crowd control baked into it. So if you play very high skill Aegislash, you don't leave your opponents many opportunities, and then you can also secure objectives and take over fights and nuke people and, like, somehow survive 1v3s. So, Aegislash is a very strong Pokemon. Glaceon, I don't know where to put Glaceon anymore, because we also saw the Sylveon getting representation. Had it in A+ tier. Think we're bumping Sylveon to S tier, and the reason why I didn't put Sylveon S tier in my previous tier list is because it just felt weird having two evolution share in the S tier, even though they kind of excel at different things. Like, Glaceon is just special attacking Cinderace that doesn't have like the nuking secured Unite, but can also just set a Unite, hit someone like with the Ice Shard, or not Ice Shard, Icicle Crash, they're KO'd, and then you do it again. So the amount of DPS the Pokemon puts out is insane. But the thing about Sylveon, better levels 1 through 3, better level 4, and then it just never turns off. Sylveon always in control. Especially with the way, like, a lot of the character picks were going, there was really nothing that threatened Sylveon. Like, Lucario dashes onto Sylveon, but then Sylveon just kind of backs up, kites in the Hyper Voice sweet spot, does a ton of damage to Lucario. And unless, like, it's in the middle of a team fight and it's getting tagged by, like, 5 extreme speed, Sylveon's still going to survive. And Power Punch just can't do anything into it. Never pick Power Punch. OG, why? You listened to your bad teammates and then you lost. Then Glaceon, like I said, they kind of do the same thing. So, yeah, like, this also isn't the Pokemon, like, Worlds tier list. Like, oh, these are how the Pokemon did at Worlds, therefore that's a tier list. No, this is still go out into your games with this knowledge and then win more. By the way, like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends. this is like the most accurate representation of Pokemon Unite character selection you can find on YouTube, and I think that's kind of been proven with how things have been playing out. So yeah, that's another thing. And that's also why we didn't see the Garchomp, which is why in the beginning I was like, I was almost right about everything. People favoring the Tsareena. I'm not bumping Tsareena up to S tier. Also, from like the data mine, looks like Tsareena is about to get nerfed, which has been needed. Also, I think Sareena's performance can be kind of flippy. Like, it's either going to 1v5 at Zapdos because it's so far ahead, or it's going to stomp a few times and then evaporate. It's going to get its Unite move canceled. It's like one of the most easy to cancel Unite moves because it's in there brawling and it's trying to mash it out, but there's so much crowd control going out from different Pokemon that, like, you just get canceled out. Or even if you do get your Unite move, like, you use it, doesn't have crazy team impact, and then you vanish. Or, again, you can also take over, but it's one of those things. We didn't see, like, a lot of, like, hard Giga Burning on Garchomp. Garchomp, also a tricky Pokemon to, like, scale and build composition around and stuff. So instead, like, yeah, funnel Cinderace instead of funnel Garchomp. That's fine. We also saw Dragonite get gapped. Dragonite belonging in B tier. Blastoise. Blastoise also an interesting one. You got to see it in the finals. By the way, I've always talked down on, like, competitive Pokemon Unite because the scene is underdeveloped, the game is dead. Players that were getting praised like Lutano were just bad. Like, you watch Lutano's gameplay, and it's like, wow, that's just, like, ultra class, like, just getting smurfed on, not skilled at all. Just because he was, like, the only person that could find 4 other friends to play all day, and then just out 5-man people doesn't mean he was good. And that's kind of like the story of Pokemon Unite, that a lot of the good solo players aren't on a team because that's just the nature of the beast sometimes, and not getting a good team together. That's why I don't have a team. I wasn't able to find 4 players I consider elite that I could play with 8 hours a day to then make it to Worlds, even though I probably, like, Pokemon Company probably blacklists me or something. Like, come on, it's 2022. Why are we wearing masks? Really? Really? Like, if I wasn't blacklisted for calling people like Spraggles trash, because they know how to make good content, but they don't know how to be good at the game. And I think that that's more valuable in something competitive like Pokemon Unite, where if you listen to a bad tier list from any other content creator or some meme moveset video, you're just ruining the experience for 4 other players, and I strongly disagree with that. And then there's a lot of ignorant NPC stuff going on. They don't understand the game. And now the Pokemon Company is just like stupid woke virtue signaling, so silly stuff. Either way, Blastoise, put it A tier. We watched in the finals, but what I was getting at is, like, the finals, you can watch the final match, not like the entirety of Worlds, and actually see good top-level Pokemon Unite gameplay from Blackhand. I was surprised, because normally, like, it's almost unwatchable. Like, the Japanese tournaments were super unwatchable, but anything else where it's like, oh man, these people are so good, why aren't you in the finals? It's like, because that's just trash play, and anyone that has skill should be able to see that. But Blastoise getting gapped by the Trevenant. I have Blastoise at A tier because devastating Unite power, and also, like I said in previous tier lists, at some point in the game, the Squirtle you've been just punting will now run you over with Rapid Spin, Water Spout, and then there's nothing you can do about it. Hindrance resistance and the unstoppability is outrageously powerful, and then it has a really strong Unite move that can change fights. Problem is, its early game is too weak. Like, Trevenant, just going to be the better tank. So why play Blastoise when Trevenant exists? Trevenant only not S tier because its stacking isn't super reliable, Phantump isn't super strong, and sometimes, even if you get, like, full stacks, Trevenant is only pushing people around. Like, it's not being the craziest threat, and it's not having the craziest teamfight impact, and even with a good Unite move, like other Pokemon are doing more, at the same time, it's a tank. But at the same time, there's tanks like Mamoswine that can also just, like, control an entire fight and then, like, one-shot 3 carries. It's nuts. So, yeah, Trevenant's still really, really good, but not, like, showing that S-tier consistency just throughout the entirety of the game, but just working better than Blastoise and being a very strong pick for the team compositions. Still think Mamoswine's S-tier because, yeah, if you go Icicle Crash, high horsepower, if you have more than 2 people and they don't have immunity to crowd control, you just win. You just win the fight. And then it can also Unite, and that's kind of like the goal. It's like if they have a Decidueye, if they have Cinderace, whoever their carry is, all you have to do is Icicle Crash to zone them, get like an auto attack stun, maybe a high horsepower push, and then you Unite, and you follow them with the Unite, you knock them up, land another Icicle Crash. Like, they don't get to play the game. You as Mamoswine, get to make the most valuable player on the enemy team not exist, while also being the strongest laner in the game besides Mr. Mime. With Ice, Shard, and Tackle, plus your auto attacks, like, you do 60% to any Pokemon while securing wild Pokemon. You can 1v2, so when it's a 2v2, you just get kills, steal all the wild Pokemon, and then you're just ahead, and then you only get stronger as the game goes on. So yeah, that's what makes Mamoswine S tier, and again, just kind of like the tail of the early games. Squirtle is too weak. I would have rather seen, where is he? Venusaur instead of Blastoise for those final games, because like Venusaur scaling in the 1-1-3, we've seen that before in the past, and if Venusaur gets ahead or stays afloat neutral and then finds some kind of Dreadnought angle, now it's very threatening. So we didn't get to see any of that play out. And again, like, Venusaur doesn't scale as reliably. We didn't get to see in the 1-1-3. Is it B+? Is it low A? Is it A-? I don't know. But I would have like since I would have liked to see it over Blastoise, Blastoise can't be A tier anymore. So many things going on. Like, Machamp, A+ tier, but we're about to see crit emblems get nerfed, and I think like Machamp's just kind of been falling off. Like, it was suddenly magically A+ tier in the summer. People are like, yeah, just Dynamic Punch and then Unite, and then everyone dies, and then you just kind of win games and you roll people. Also, it's early game, very strong. Much like Gible, people are like, Garchomp's bad because Gibble's weak. Gible is one of the best duelists in the game, even at level 3, level 4. And then you hit level 5 and it's just insane. So like, stack management on Gible kind of makes or breaks you as a character, and also you can run Gible in jungle. Garchomp S tier jungler, no one's doing it. Lucario S tier jungle, no one's doing it. Don't know why. And it's just kind of like those weird effects where it's like, okay, if you understand that like Machop, you just hindrance immune and then Karate Chop steal everything, and then you just scale and start one-shotting people. Yeah, Machamp's kind of nasty, but also at the same time, very little sustain. When its hindrance immunity wears off, like, it's just gone. Like, it just does not have the staying power of a Dragonite in fights. It also doesn't have the durability of other Pokemon. It doesn't have the mobility of Aegislash. It's super vulnerable. So it's like it looks like it is. You know, it's just a glass cannon muscle. And sometimes it's unstoppable. Other times kind of falls flat. After seeing that, it's like, yeah, there's just better picks and better ways of playing the game. Extreme Speed Lucario, A+ tier. It's been nerfed too much to call S and compete like we've seen and have like just overall unstoppable 1v multi dominance, but like Lucario just messes people up. Lucario gets in the team fight, messes people up, has strong laning, so it does pretty well throughout all of that. Where are we at? Oh, Tyranitar. People probably want to know where the new Pokemon has landed. I have no idea where to put Tyranitar because it's like Charizard, but crazier on the Unite. Like, it's Charizard with stronger Unite, but I don't know, because like, it just doesn't seem to exist. People are talking about like, oh man, Ancient Power does so much, and like the unstoppability is cool and being able to like move around, but if Tyranitar isn't uniting, I feel no threat from this thing whatsoever. Like, if Unite is not up, it's B tier because it maybe like finds something and it is a body and it like it's a Pokemon. But then when it unites, it has like what almost feels like the best Unite move in the game besides Hoopa and Mr. Mime, and also just kind of like Cinderace for the secure angle, where it's just like, yeah, Tyranitar, it will 3-shot anything in the game because auto attack 1, 2,000 damage, auto attack 2, 2,000 damage, execute. And if the rest of the team fight is going on, it just walks. It just walks forward, it does its little stompy thing, and it just stomps through 5 people, and game's over. Like, there is so little counterplay to that Unite, so much damage, so much insanity off the execute that, yeah, it's like, it's insanely powerful. And as we know, Pokemon Unite is all about Zapdos and objectives, so if you only, like, if you just kind of scale up, and then only unite at Zapdos and objectives, you're winning pretty hard. But if, like, a team fight breaks out, if you don't get that Unite angle, if you start falling behind, then you're pretty much useless. And even then, like, since you are a melee Pokemon, can get kited out, can get crowd controlled, can also just kind of like not have the greatest Unite move. So I don't know, it's like A, it exists between A and A+ tier for me because of that, and maybe the development isn't there. I didn't get my hands on the Pokemon, and like I've said, 99% of the player base is just trash, so maybe I'd find an angle that other people haven't. It's just good. Like, it will unite. Let's put it at like the lowest A+ tier, because it will unite it will neutralize everything on the KO damage, like the KO threshold, and it can determine things, I guess. Blissey had it in A tier with Eldegoss. Eldegoss not showing up. I still think Eldegoss is big sleeper pick energy, as potent as a Blissey in certain situations, certain circumstances, but like, it's weird floating Blissey to A+ in just regular play. Like, if you're playing Funnel Comp, if you have a Hoopa, if you have a Blissey, if you're also kind of building around the Cinderace or the Garchomp, not the Dragonite. Blissey Dragonite, not looking as strong as Blissey Cinderace. I've been saying this. This is why Dragonite's in B tier. If it's securing Zapdos with Hyper Beam, the enemy team has done something wrong to not just win the fight and make that not a thing. So, like, because Dragonite's team fighting isn't really that crazy. All it can do is, like, run away and then charge up a Hyper Beam, which hits one person for half their health. Mamoswine can catch 3 people and then crowd control them for 4 seconds while doing 70% of their health from further away. So that's why, like, I didn't see any of that stuff going on, but, like, proper things. Also, understanding Blissey. Like, always going soft-boiled, bad. Always going safeguard, bad. They have a Mr. Mime, you go safeguard, good. If they don't have a lot of crowd control or dive, and you go and you go soft-boiled, good. So, like, it's actually one of the very few Pokemon in the game that has a dynamic moveset. If you pick, like, here's the thing. Blissey's A tier. But if you pick the right moveset, you are now A+ tier. And if you have the right comp, you are now strong, like solid, cemented in A+ tier. You still have also, like, just good slaps cures because support bonus damage and stuff. Egg Bomb can steal an objective, can stop scoring, can disrupt people. So, like, yeah, it's competent, but also there are games where just, like, the opponent's team comp can just be too oppressive and too underwhelming to where Blissey does not exist. It doesn't get to scale. It's too far behind to, like, be effective, and then the Pokemon supporting gets blown up, or it gets blown up, and then it just didn't exist. Whereas, at least with Eldegoss, like, you always have that Unite angle, you always have the fat team shield. So it's kind of, like, weird stuff going on in the support dueling. But, like, Blissey, it showed up, and it showed, like, Cinderace funnel. What I've been saying for a year is how you play the game. Unfortunately, we did not see enough of the Clefable. I floated Clefable to A+ tier because Tyranitar coming in, Fairy-type strong against Dark-type Pokemon. I think we have to put Clefable back down to A tier, but still performing better than the lower tier Pokemon. Decidueye, Cinderace is just better. Greninja is just better. Decidueye does, like, wacky things in solo queue, but I still think, like, when you're playing high-caliber ADC mechanics, like, just... I wouldn't even say high caliber, just if you're bringing good fundamentals from League of Legends as a dedicated AD carry that just knows how to kite and dodge abilities and time cooldowns, then yeah, that's why Cinderace is S tier. Problem? No one knows how to do that. Greninja. Like, assassin, melee, ranged AD carry, jungle, like, Lee Sin, April Fool's meme. If you do all that right, like, you can pop off, and then, like, you surf chain, Katarina, it's wacky, but then, like, Cinderace also just has the Unite that steals Zapdos, and it's interesting when you break down how the games went, how the builds went, all that stuff. Cinderace, Blaze Kick, Flame Charge, Scopeland's Muscle Band, Razor Claw was getting the play. Yeah, you don't need Focus Band if you are getting the dedicated support, and you have the Hoopa, and the rest of your team is snowballing, and they have to worry about Aegislash as well. So, I believe this. I jive with this. Yeah, that's the build, it seems. I don't really care about the Muscle Band attack speed as much. It's just like that % damage, maybe attack speed has like weird interactions with your stat buffs and stuff, and then just raw attack. Maybe there's a better item here, but it's also just like safe and consistent and helps with like the start of a burn on objectives. So we got that stuff going on. Picking with the pick rate, Blaze Kick, Flame Charge. I've personally always been on Pyro Ball camp. Like, Blaze Kick, the way I interpret it is, like, Blaze Kick is you either kick in and destroy whatever is in front of you, or you kick in and it kind of becomes an int. It just depends on, like, the game state. I don't know. I don't like it that, like, your only option is to go in on someone that should be not going in like that. Flame Charge versus Feint. I personally feel like Pyro Ball Feint is the way to go, because, like, if you hit a Pyro Ball onto anyone, that's huge. And if you get like a multi-hit Pyro Ball, that's a one fight, and it also has crazy objective burn. So we're going to see like what that is. Another interesting thing to note, even on the most popular build, best item, full heal, not shown. So again, just kind of like, yeah, meta. If you have to reference the meta and say like your tier list is wrong because of the meta, you just don't understand the game. Like you're just completely lacking from where things are going. Breaking down like other team compositions and gaps and stuff where it's like, yeah, the Cinderace Dragonite, turns out Cinderace is better at team fighting. It doesn't have like as reliable Secure because it's Secure is on the Unite move. But yeah, then like Hoopa trashes Snorlax, the Blissey diff or whatever is going on. Like, yeah, that's kind of how the game plays out. And then Trevenant better than this Pokemon, Blastoise. So we didn't see in Gengar. Gengar's still like A+ tier Snowbally if you don't go Dream Eater. If you go Dream Eater, you're D tier, you suck, you're just useless. Hex Gengar though, super powerful. Which brings me to another weird thing that's happening. Play rate on Hex Gengar is leveling out. It went from like 70% pick rate on Dream Eater to now like getting close to that 50% on the Sludge Bomb Hex. NPCs, man, it's these idiots that just follow the other content creators blindly, where it's just like, but Teed said Dream Eater's good, and then like you can see that reflect where it's like, oh, these people are just watching content and then running it down. So, and that's affecting the pick rate. And then like, oh, but I was wrong, now Hex is the good moveset. No, Hex has always been the best, but these people can't think for themselves, so now they're just like trolling games. At least now it's only a 50% chance that your Gengar is griefing instead of a 2 and 3 chance that your Gengar is griefing. So at least that's balancing out, but yeah, we're seeing it perform better. Also, look at that, full heal, 52%, performing better than the other items because using full heal and not getting completely locked out and then chaining your hexes is how you win the game on Gengar. Still A+ tier because like it's just nasty and snowballing, and I don't know where I can put this anymore because, yeah, there we go. Where are we at? Like, because there's just a lot to break down here. Buzzwole vanished. Buzzwole doesn't exist now. Tyranitar is just better Buzzwole because of Unite, but it's also like Tyranitar's still squishy and still doesn't do too much, but it unites and then it just walks over a team. Game's interesting right now. I will say that, like, the way the world's played out and like watching how Pokemon are developing, game's interesting. Pikachu's still terrible. Slowbro, still terrible. Again, like you can see, it's like, why pick Slowbro when Trevenant exists? Mamoswine's the better pickup. Mr. Mime, if you're trying to like use a supportive pick, because people play Slowbro more like the support for, you throw out a Scald, you're making their AD carry potentially less effective, and then you're trying to lock someone down. Mr. Mime, you go Guard Swap Confusion, that's better than Slow Beam right there, and then your Unite is hitting the entire team. Enemy team for multi-stuns, and even then, like, Slowbro trying to lock out Jungle Book Cinderace did not work, and then Noun's Lost Worlds. That, congratulations. They got too cute on the bad picks, and it cost the World Championships. Should have listened to Verlisify. Oh well. Espeon, lowest win rate character, just unplayable. Wigglytuff gonna be getting some buffs, maybe finds itself in B tier. But again, like, it's just that it doesn't exist in the late game. The most important part of the game. How tier list breaks down is like, how good are you in the early game? How good are you into scaling? And how monstrous are you for Zapdos? Same thing for even like A tier and A+ tier and stuff. So Zeraora, I had at A+ tier. Zeraora's just feeling A. Even with like the level 9 like Unite move and stuff. I was always just like, yeah, there's gotta be like, you know, the shadow of Zeraora's S tier, casting it into A+, or maybe just people suck. That could also be it, or maybe just power creep has now made Zeraora actually A tier. Kind of like how Machamp was a fraudulent A+ for a while, but it's actually A+ tier because like proper development and just gameplay and stuff. Sejun Park's Greedent could not bust it out of B tier. And that was like another reason why I really like the finals of the Pokemon Unite Worlds, is that it looked like honest gameplay. It looked like proper Pokemon Unite. The Pokemon Unite that I've been telling people to play and like people getting mad at me for saying like this is proper Pokemon Unite for the last year, where it's like no Greedent invade shenanigans. The score pushing and stacking at least looked more strategic than just like running it down and inting with a score shield and then just not breaking bot, working on objectives, not throwing into tier 2 goal, and then making it all about Zapdos. Like, score meta was always fraudulent, and now we just have we just have good Pokemon Unite. And in that world, it's not Greedent's world, so it's not doing that great. So yeah, proper Pokemon Unite won, and a lot of what I said was true. Wow, surprise. We didn't see Absol. Absol, like, it was like A tier after the buffs, but now B tier after the nerfs. You can still succeed on it if you play like very specific Absol that you need to get lucky, so you need more luck. Also, Crit's getting nerfed, so it's gonna be harder to get lucky. You need to get lucky on your ganks into Dreadnought. You need to be level 9 to Unite at Dreadnought. I still think Fluffy Tail Angle is it, and then you also just need to like one-shot Zapdos instantly. It's mostly solo queue, like. Everyone's going to be at Zapdos at 210 in coordinated or respectable play, but if you're just trying to like take advantage of solo queue, you get a support, and ADC on Zapdos at 205, and then like you just immediately burn it down, and you go for the execute with Fluffy Tail and your Unite, and like, okay, you just win the game because everyone's too disorganized to even keep up with that. That's really the only way you can play Absol. Only way you can play Absol is pray for RNG, and then pray for just a collapsed game state where you can just take Zapdos before anyone realized what happened. Ninetales. Oh, also Snorlax. Snorlax diff, really representing. We watched IX Gaming because Pika diff, just not a good player. And then they threw him on the Snorlax instead of Hoopa for some reason, and his Snorlax was just terrible. And once again, like, why play Snorlax when Trevenant exists? But OG was taken as the top Lucario A+, so, like, the game, like, it's not even that it wasn't their meta, it's just their players couldn't keep up with, like, how Pokemon, like, good Pokemon Unite, which is unfortunate, because, like, OG is world champion caliber. But, yeah, so, like, the weird thing is, I said this in multiple videos now, because I've watched it happen, where it's like, whoa, the best randos I've played with were just, like, a Snorlax and Ninetales that took over lane, because they do that in the 2-1-2. And then they kind of create like a lot of wall setups. And if you're playing Mr. Mime, like, that's actually a comp. Mr. Mime, Ninetales, Snorlax is just a snowballing comp. And then, like, I don't know, Hoopa Cinderace, you win. Hoopa Sylveon, you win. I don't know. But then, like, alone, they are not the sum of their parts. And Snorlax is just kind of bad, and Ninetales just not as good as, like, other characters. Why play Ninetales when Glaceon exists, or Sylveon exists? Or even, like, other picks exist. I think Cramorant's still A tier. It was bugged, A+ tier. Nerf Revert, A+ tier. Falling back down to A tier. Game is just weird. I think like, the problem is, like, Cramorant Unite is not strong enough to keep up with all, like, the mobility creep and unstoppability and all the stuff at Zapdos. Like, you Unite, and then you get bowled over after just throwing out, like, a pitiful Surf Hurricane. Dive Air Slash is griefing. You suck if you think it's good. I've been saying this for a year. We didn't really get, like, we didn't even see Dive Air Slash Cramorant have, like, oh man, look at him go at Worlds, and we didn't even see, like, Cramorant really take that. So I think Cramorant angle still definitely there. Using it top, using it to not collapse the 3, because then you can just kind of, like, push in. But then I don't know where you, like, scale it into the late game unless you play it as a support. So weird stuff on Cramorant. Not the right players, not the right team. Still thinking is waiting to be discovered. Needs a little bit of buff, but definitely playable, especially for how commanding that early to mid game is. Like, you Surf Hurricane someone, they're dead, and then you just Whirlpool your way through lane with Hurricane on Bees, and then you're just putting your opponents behind and hoping your team picks up the pieces. Maybe Cramorant's A+ tier, and all my teammates have been suck. I don't know. Crustle. Crustle development used to just be like the Mad Lad, Dwebble, rolls up, just starts stealing everything, and then scales into Crustle. X-Scissor, Shell Smash is the only viable Crustle moveset, and then you just run through everyone, and you lock them out the game, and you find a lucky crit, and then it's GG. Also, you do have one of the best Unite moves in the game, but it's not showing up. Again, is this like the Cinderace syndrome, where I just kept putting Cinderace at S tier, because I'm like, someone out there knows how to play it. And the funny thing is, Jungle Book, I've seen not screenshots, but like camera angles from Worlds, and no one's using the selection wheel. It is what it looked like to me. I don't think Jungle Book used the selection wheel. There was a time when he was trying to cancel scores, and he was only hitting the lowest person. So, like, selection wheel Cinderace is also like this crazy, cracked out of their mind skill cap thing that I don't think I can achieve. But even then, like, you just do lowest target selection, and your Cinderace is still going to be really strong. So I was just kind of like, yeah, the ultimate twin-sticking Cinderace selection wheel, perfect kiting, targeting, Uzi Eye player out there is making him like he's 100% S tier in those hands. And even without those hands, still S tier. So I'm like, is there still the Crustle angle? Is there still the Cramorant angle that's like making these Pokemon really strong? I don't know. Or maybe Crustle's just playable, which is A tier. Azumarill still not doing much. Gardevoir still not doing much. Delphox just feeling like better Cramorant right now. Charizard, those aggro Charmanders that just like run through you in lane and then still have strong Unite, also kind of crazy. Not factoring in the upcoming patch, because like I have been doing that a little bit. I'm like, oh, the data mine has these stats, and that's gonna kind of affect things. Everyone's Unite's getting nerfed, and it looks like Charizard's going to get gutted from that, which is also going to like pin down Tyranitar. But like at least until we figure out where all that goes, because everyone's Unite is getting nerfed, like this is still a healthy way of looking at the game. Talonflame, you run fly, you secure objectives, you're strong. Duraludon, you post up. And I think you kind of pop off a little better than the Decidueye, but you still kind of have just like ADC, crazy DPS stuff going on, low mobility, kind of being the separation. And there we go. We just kind of like stumbled into a tier list. This is Pokemon Unite. This right here. If you deny it, I think you're just kind of wrong at that point. And that's just game sense. That's just gameplay. Few things, maybe a little slipping around. Oh, someone's actually B+. Wigglytuff maybe C tier, but I don't want to add C tier and just for one Pokemon and someone's representation. I don't know. This is it. You go out in your games, you abide by this, you ignore Slowbro, and then you win. GG. Thanks for watching.